Is the war between the United States and Russia possible? Is it imminent? Well, judging from the slew of recent fake news and videos, fake news in the Western media and videos on YouTube, I would say yes, it's very possible. And yes, it's imminent. And, you know, it might happen tomorrow. Or actually, perhaps the missiles already flying from Moscow to New York and from New York to Moscow. Let's find out in details whether it's true or not. If you're here for the first time, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where I explain how it is to be living in today's Russia. I also give my takes and my views, my opinions on certain things and issues here inside Russia and on how certain things are seen from Russia, let's say in the United States or, in other countries. And today is one of those things. I will tell you how this slew of disinformation in the recent days about, Russia blowing up satellite and building up forces to invade Ukraine looks like from Russia. And if you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much. You're awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more. Straight to the point. In the recent few days, I have read numerous articles, numerous news. I was going to say fake news, but news. And I was emailed quite a few links to different videos on YouTube, and they all cover three topics. First is Russia did something evil and terrible in the Northern Sea and cut some kind of underwater cables to harm nuclear missile detection sensor network system to put it out of operations. Then Russia blew up its own satellite in space. Then Russia has been amassing tons of armor on the border with Ukraine in the town of Yelnya in Smolensk province to invade Ukraine, and it's going to invade very soon. When I first read the articles and I heard this news in the Western media, because there's nothing in the Russian media about this stuff, I would say, about this nonsense. So when I first read it, I said, well, things happen, another fake news, another propaganda, whatever. But I started getting bombarded from different people from different sides, and they were sending me this articles and videos of different people, interpreting these events in their own way. And I was like, wow, it got to the point where I have over a dozen of emails from different people. They sent me these takes of different people on these three issues. Honestly, this whole situation makes me absolutely mad. It's disinformation and fake news at its best. Where do I start? Well, let's take a closer look at each one of these news. First, about the space. Russia blew up own satellite as a test of anti-satellite weapon. Oh my God, Russia is such an evil. Russia has put ISS, International Space Station, into danger. Poor astronauts have to hide inside of ISS every 93 minutes. Where do I start? Well, first of all, Russia co-owns International Space Station. When ISS was sent to space, there were only two countries capable of sending spaceships into space: the United States and Russia. Russia co-owns it and cooperates it. There are Russian astronauts on ISS constantly. So these people are telling that Russia has deliberately put ISS into danger, a very expensive space station that it co-owns, it put in danger, and own astronauts who are on ISS and will be in the future put in danger. Okay, now for the sake of fairness, let's take a few steps back. 2007, China tests an anti-satellite weapon at height of 800 kilometers. It blows up a huge satellite and pieces are flying all over the place. That was much more danger to all satellites, ISS, all the spaceships that are in space than what Russia recently did. Did anyone make a fuss about it? No, not really. They just acknowledged. They said, well, the Chinese are testing their own space weapon. Wow, you know, it's probably not good. That's what people were saying back in 2007. The USA quickly followed the suit with Operation Burnt Frost back in 2009. If you guys have forgotten, I'm reminding you. The Operation Burnt Frost executed by US Space Force. Yes, there is Space Force in the United States. To test ASAT, anti-satellite weapon missile. And it was a success. At height of 250 kilometers, an American satellite was blown into pieces, and debris went into the orbit higher than International Space Station, and ISS was put into, well, some kind of a danger. Same kind of a danger that Russia has put ISS now. Did anyone say a word? Did anyone make a fuss about that? I don't remember. In the United States was like, well, we kind of do what we want, and there's nothing you can do or say about that. And everyone kind of shut up. Then, back in 2019, India tested its own ASAT weapon, anti-satellite space weapon. It's the same scenario. India blew up its own satellite. Did the United States or international community say anything about it? Not much, because India is an ally of the United States, and you know, okay, that happened. But then comes 2021 and evil Russia does that. Oh my God, every single kid in every kindergarten in the Western countries starts drawing pictures on how evil Russia is, because that's what people keep hearing from different media outlets. Oh, these Russians want to weaponize space. Well, I have a surprise for you. Space has been weaponized by the United States and Soviet Union back 50 years ago. Gosh. Anyway. Well, friends, it gets even better. Let's go to news number 2. Russia has been amassing troops and armor near Ukraine border, and it's ready to invade Ukraine. It's ready to strike. This bloodthirsty Russians, you know, invaders, evil. Need to put them down. And the whole amassment is taking place in the town of Yelnya. Well, it's really funny to hear about that, because this is the misinformation and the fake news right here on the surface. You don't have to, you know, dig deep inside to understand that this is fake. Yes, there are plenty of armor and plenty of tanks in Yelnya, but Yelnya has been a military base since basically the end of World War II, and it's located not anywhere close to Ukrainian border. Actually, it's 200 plus miles from Ukraine, and it's located closer to Moscow than it is to Ukraine. That base is strategically placed there to act as a shield against a possible invasion, armor invasion from the West. I mean, that happened before, okay? And just to prevent things like that happen in the future, Russians established a military base. And yes, there are plenty of tanks there. I don't know, a few hundred perhaps, but Russia has pretty formidable military force and thousands of tanks. And trust me, that base is actually quite small, okay? As a matter of fact, I am Russian and I am a taxpayer, and I have no problem with Russia amassing Russian tanks in the territory of Russia, in the town of Yelnya. And I would like to say, hey, Putin, take my money that I'm paying in taxes, I'm paying a lot, and put it into the good cause. Put more tanks to Yelnya. Put more armadas to Yelnya, okay? Let them stand there, so we all feel safer. Because that base is a part of a shield that protects and defends Moscow from possible Western invasion. Now, the news number 3. That thing is so crazy. I don't understand how people buy in it, okay? Evil Russians have cut underground cable somewhere near Norway. A few of you know, most don't, but probably a few, that the United States, back in the Cold War days, installed a network of sensors on the bottom of Northern Sea around Norway to track Russian nuclear submarines, okay? Once a submarine passes by a sensor, the United States knows where it's moving to. And that thing has been in operation since probably the 70s, okay? It's a pretty smart thing. There are thousands of sensors, thousands of hundreds of thousands of kilometers, miles of cables, undersea cables. Basically, the entire Northern Sea around Norway, Sweden, is actually covered with cables and sensors. And someone cut one cable. And of course it's Russia. Now, there is no evidence that it was Russia. No evidence whatsoever. And the system, if you cut one cable, it's not put out of operation. It's going to be operational. It is online, okay? And you must cut like probably thousands cables of that to take that system offline. But one cable was cut by someone. Well, Russia is not the only country that has a capability of cutting cables. China does. The United States does. And people not asking question, well, perhaps Russia was framed for that, to be blamed for, interfering. I mean, it happened before, right? You guys all know that Russia was blamed for interfering in the US elections and helping the elect president to be elected. And you all know how it all ended up. You know, the truth is out there right now. Perhaps it's kind of the same interference going on. You guys don't think so? This is crazy. Now, there's another news on the way. Another thing that makes Russia so evil, so satanic, so bad. You know, how can this freaking country even exist? We need to wipe it out of the face of the earth. So there is a migrant crisis in Belorussia, going on right now. There are about 2,000 people on the border between Belorussia and Poland, and they're trying to get inside of Poland. Now, they don't want to live in Poland. They want to pass Poland and go to Germany, where they can go on welfare and make lots of money. I mean, who needs to live in Poland? Poland is not that of a rich country. Polish, well, obviously not letting the migrants in, and they're doing a right thing. And the Belarusians are not letting the migrants out because they are undocumented. And also Belarusians are doing the good thing. And, you know, there's a huge fuss about it. It will be in the news soon. Oh, Russia has sent these migrants from Moscow specifically to infiltrate Poland and destroy the integrity of Europe. Okay? What does Russia have to do with that? That Belarus is absolutely independent country. It has a president, it has police force, military force, and so forth. It has absolutely separate legislation concerning migrants, but yet it's still Russia's fault. Okay, Belarusian President Lukashenko has made a statement that he is going to ask Russia for nuclear weapons, the nukes, to protect himself, and it's been all over the news again. He can say whatever he wants to. The Iranians have been claiming that they're gonna wipe out the Israel and the United States off the face of the earth. For the past 20 years they've been saying that. And what? So the Lukashenko says he wants Russian nukes, and it's Russia's fault again. My God. You know, it's funny how people believe these things. They don't analyze, they don't think, they just read, they watch YouTube and they're like, oh my God. Russia is bad. Something must be done with that. And it's just, if you look into the source, for example, that military force amassment, how did it come into existence? There was one article on a website called Politico. It's not an official website of any country, any state, any department or anything like that. It's just an independent website that collects different news. And it posted the fake about Yelnya being right next to Ukrainian border. And everyone has started reposting it, re-commenting it, sending it out and stuff like that. It's left such a huge digital trace all over the world, and it has influenced opinions of probably millions of people. This is modern media at its worst, and this is misinformation, propaganda, and fake news at its worst. And you know what the problem is? No one is responsible. No one will be held responsible. And my message to you guys, please think of what you read and what you watch. Analyze. Your brain, your head is not just to eat. Your head is to think, okay? Think, analyze, ask questions. Ask questions like, where does this thing come from? Doesn't make any sense. Who benefits by spreading this information? Ask those questions. Just don't believe everything that you see in the media or on internet. Even if it comes from scientists. Yeah, scientists. The scientists made comments about Yelnya and the cable and the space part. The scientists. To answer my question, is the war between the United States and Russia imminent? I would say you gotta be crazy to think about the war, because Russia is certainly not in the position to want a war. Russia is in a perfect state in the world. It's stable. Its economy is great, not for the people, but for the government. Russia is raking in money from high prices of oil and high prices of natural gas. And it's not Russia's evil fault that prices have gone up. You know, that there are objective reasons for that. The Russian government currently needs two things: stability and acceptance. It needs to have a stable situation within the country. The idea here is let everything go the way it's been going. It's perfect. There's no opposition. Everything's under control. People under control. You know, politics totally under control. And the second is they need acceptance by the international community of Russian government, of Russian individuals who run Russian government. And that's it. War? What war? The United States, on the other side, is having something very strange inside of the country. Economy is not that great as far as I hear. The parties stand against each other, and in general, things are heated up there. Well, you ask yourself a question. Who needs war more? Russia or the United States? And why Russia? Why not China? All of a sudden, it's Russia now. Russia this, Russia that, Russia is so bad, evil, and even worse, you know. Mysteriously, people, the media, have forgotten about China. China was the bad guy 6 months ago. I mean, those concentration camps for Uyghur people, they haven't magically disappeared. They're still operational. But if 6 months ago that was the talk of the town, now people have forgotten about that. The human rights situation in China, China was the bad guy 6 months ago. It's perfect now. No one talks about China anymore. Why is that so? Perhaps some kind of a deal was made with China? Think about it. It's Russia now. Why? Because Russia is small, it's relatively weak compared to China, and then Russia can be picked on. And Chinese gave a swift and a very strong answer to the United States some 6 months ago. And you know what? The United States backed out, said, okay, we're not gonna mess with these guys, but we're gonna mess with someone, and that's gonna be Russia. So I think the war between Russia and the United States is not very likely, and certainly not in the interests of Russia. The United States has been known to start wars to distract attention from domestic issues and, you know, put them into the wars. Russia, although it's weak and not as powerful as China, is certainly not the right country to start war with. I don't think it's in the interest of the United States. I think This whole media situation is looking to me like they're putting up decoys and they are distracting attention of something really big that is going on someplace else, not in Russia. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.